Good morning to you all. I hope that this is not going to be over your heads, but I want to visit the world of astronomy and cosmology and look at the effects of evolutionary thinking in that area. Hence the title of this morning's creation moment, The Big Bang and Dark Matter. We start with Hebrews 11:3, which reads, "Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear." The Big Bang is a naturalistic story about the origin and development of the universe. It's a cosmology, beginning with what they call a singularity, where all mass, energy and space was contained in a much smaller volume than the universe today. It's riddled with problems, supported by numerous unobserved assumptions, and most importantly, contradicts the biblical teaching of creation. The Big Bang today relies on a growing number of hypothetical entities, things that we have never observed, such as inflation, dark matter and dark energy are the most prominent examples. Without them, there would be a fatal contradiction between the observations made by the astronomers and the predictions of the Big Bang Theory. So today we want to focus on the dark matter hypothesis. Sounds a bit Star Trek-y, but here we go. The initial justification for dark matter started some 3/4 of a century ago when Caltech astronomer Fritz Zwicky observed stars moving so fast that gravity shouldn't have held them together. He postulated that an unseen amount of matter, dark matter, must be supplying extra gravitational force to rein in the star system. Similar observations have helped entrench the dark matter hypothesis in many astrophysicists' minds, despite the fact that astrophysicists have not detected the dark matter itself. Ken Ham from Answers in Genesis writes in a blog, "When you gaze up at the night sky, you'll see hundreds of twinkling stars, perhaps a planet or two, maybe a meteoroid burning up in our atmosphere, or a few planets or satellites. What you won't see is what astronomers believe makes up 25 to even 90% of the universe, invisible dark matter." So what is this mysterious dark matter? Asks Ham. I don't know, he says, and neither does anyone else. It remains the greatest unsolved problem in physics. But does it actually even exist? Now, while dark matter is often associated with Big Bang cosmology, which is a supposed historical science that isn't directly testable, observable or repeatable as a sort of rescuing device, there is observational evidence that dark matter may exist, even if we can't see it or know what it is yet. But the authors of a new study of orbiting galaxies suggest that dark matter isn't there. It's toing and froing. And that's why decades of research haven't been able to pin it down. If this is true, a rewrite of the theory of gravitation would be necessary. Obviously, that's a big deal, and this will continue to be much debated in the astrophysics community. We need to scientifically understand why the dark matter-based model, being the most falsified physical theory in the history of humankind, continues to be religiously believed to be true by the vast majority of modern highly educated scientists. This is a problem for the sociological and philosophical sciences and suggests a breakdown of the scientific method, or more simply, unbelief. Quoting on this subject from the Creation Moments website, they state, "As our knowledge of about the universe grows, the Big Bang theory looks increasingly unlikely. Deep space X-ray observations in 1990, along with other observations, show that the universe is lumpy. These lumps, huge structures like quasars and galactic clusters, already existed early in its history. This contradicts one of the primary so-called proofs for the Big Bang, the background microwave radiation. This radiation seems to be smooth and even, so there shouldn't be any lumps. To solve this problem, Big Bang believers invented what is known as cold dark matter. Cold dark matter is a sort of an invisible genie. The gravity of this invisible stuff is supposed to have transformed the smooth, even Big Bang into the lumpy universe we see today. Now, several eminent scientists have rejected the cold dark matter theory. The authors of the latest report on the subject had been some of the strongest supporters of Big Bang Theory. Jeremiah Ostrowka, chairman of the Astrophysics Department at Princeton, told a reporter, "This would be like a conference of theologians saying there is no God." Ostrowka calls himself an agnostic on how to make the Big Bang Theory work. Robert Wilson, co-recipient of the 1978 Nobel Prize for his work on the Big Bang, said, "I don't know how many people actually would have sworn on a stack of Bibles that cold matter existed, but this sort of closes off that avenue," referring to the latest report. So in wrapping it all up, if these men would take the Bible's message for what it is, God's message to them, they could forget the Big Bang Theory and all their wide-ranging speculations and just thank their Creator for his forgiving love in Jesus Christ, who is declared of in Hebrews 1:3, who, being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the Majesty on high. I hope you found that useful. Thank you for listening.